You ready?
Yeah.
All right. I have some things I need to say. TeachMeGrappling. What's up, guys? Anton Kalista, Brian Peterson. We're back. Tonight I wanted to go over the lightweight champion.
Yeah.
Khabib Nurmagomedov, the Eagle. You guys ever heard of this guy? Guys, I wanted to talk about a little bit about, Anton and I were just talking about what he's done over the course of his career. He's now retired. We never know. Maybe he'll come back. But what has made him so successful? But not the whole thing, because there's a lot of things that have made him successful. But one thing that's made him successful is pressure. Insane amounts of pressure and takedowns. Guys, you cannot neglect takedowns. He has proven to people that maybe the UFC, the majority of the fighters in the UFC, have been working so much on their striking that they have neglected takedowns. Whether from judo, wrestling, sambo, whatever. You gotta know your takedowns. And relentless pressure. I just went over with Anton. We looked at some of the old fights of Khabib. And man, I just want to say, guys, he doesn't have fear. There is like no fear in this guy. He's an animal. He's a caged beast that is unleashed into that cage. And he's going to throw with his head down. He doesn't care. He gets hit in the head. He takes the shots well. And when he throws these punches, sorry about that, go ahead and pop your head up and lean back and lean back. They basically try to stay away from him, and that's what gives him these entries. A lot of times this kind of pressure leads into the fence here, where more punches with a head down like this. They are so worried about how hard that man hits. And he's not a striker. He's a grappler, but he swings with ferocity. It's just, it takes everybody into this defensive position where he can come in and grip. The locks, guys. I'm not gonna double leg. Remember, when we do our double legs against the fence or the wall, we don't grab like this because I can't pull Anton. There's no way to pull. What I do is I pressure and I sink down and I get my hands connected just below the butt. Once you guys lock just below the butt, remember, MMA, you want to use the S grip. The palm to palm can work too, if you can reach, but the S grip is probably best for your grips. When you reach like this with big old gloves, it can be a little hard. I'm not saying that it's never used. It is used. I prefer the S grip, but once you guys lock your hands, even if he has wide feet, you see like that, I now can stand up and lift this man, even though he's a big giant, and swing him out and take him down, okay? And bomb him and try to hurt him on the way down. If we show this again, it'll be easier for you to lift me. Yeah. So, but guys, the lock on the double leg. The theme tonight is gonna be the lock. We're gonna be talking about how once Khabib locks his hands around you, you're in deep trouble. Again, if Anton's here with me, he's throwing strikes with his head down and I've got a block. It's easy for him to push into me and get me up against the fence. Look at this, my legs are wide. I'm trying to stay sprawled, but his lock, just to show you the picture, he's right below the butt. When he locks like this, I can't separate his lock. I need to pull his elbows up and get him here so that he doesn't have my legs now. Even though he has my hips, he can still take me down. It's possible that if he pulls from here, you see how like I can maybe scoot away and break his lock and then knee his body. But if he stays underneath the butt, look at how, I know he's giant, he could just lift me, but go ahead, coach, like I'm trying to get my hips away. Go ahead, he just stands up and lifts. And then guys, we've shown you on previous videos how to swing the legs and drop guys down and slam the hell out of them right there. It's brutal. The other thing I want to say before we'll talk about the other lock stuff is I will go a little bit off topic and just talk about, he really does simple things, guys. And maybe we'll do this on another video, but I'm going to mention it. Get on your toes and just heavy pressure, smash. it's very different than what jiu-jitsu does. Because in jiu-jitsu, when he's on his back, once we slam the guy and we're here, we're thinking about control like this, or like how to hold with shoulder justice, how to technically play the position game. But when you're a wrestler, like Khabib in the early years of him fighting, he wasn't a positional fighter as much. He didn't really care. So if he ended up in the guard, if he was like this and the guy got the guard, so what? Because he's a ferocious striker. He's such a ferocious striker that he didn't care. And then little by little, what do you think happens out of this kind of fighting? If I'm ferocious, he starts to ball up, he starts to push me away, and then through this position, it's all wrestling style. Toes, smashing, ground and pound, wearing the guy out until he gives me something, like an easy rear naked choke by turning his back. And we saw a lot of that in the beginning. And what else? A lot of, this guy turtles, right? I'm smashing him, so he just turtles. And then as he turtles, go ahead, and tries to come up, just go to all fours like wrestling, like this. Guys, let me say this, because I gotta mention this. Folkstyle wrestling it's commonly said that American folkstyle wrestling, that's the style we do in the United States. We do it from youth all the way up through college, okay? It's not the Olympic style. We always talk about how great folkstyle is for MMA. Well, guess what? Khabib is not a folkstyle wrestler, okay? He's not. He's a freestyle, he's a Sambo guy, but the point is, the style of his wrestling from his country is much more freestyle-esque, okay? It doesn't matter if you're doing Sambo, he's still learning freestyle techniques. So, and I'm sure he wrestled freestyle, okay? You can lock around the body. In folkstyle wrestling, we don't. We can't lock right here. We can't do this. In any which way, we can't connect our hands. So in wrestling, we learn more like tight waist and chop. We learn wrist controls, spiral rides, claws. We learn all kinds of different rides like that. How to ride the ankles. But real simple. It's not that hard. If you think about it, say you're a Dagestani Sambo freestyle wrestler. So what? The rules don't say I can't lock. If I just get on my toes and hold this guy, look at how I put my forearm right here and I just put weight. If he tries to get up like a folk style wrestler, I can just like kind of break him down, pull him, you know, and get him back down. Now I'm hitting him some more. He turtles again because he doesn't like the strikes, and I lock again. This time he stands up, you know, I'm here, I step, pick him up, put him down, and slam him back down, hammer or fist him. And there's so much pressure with the lock. It's pretty simple, the takedowns right back at him. And they're not all one takedown. He used a lot of trips. You want to show one of those?
Trips, back trip. I mean, yeah, it's super simple. I think the one I see him do most is like the easiest ones. We teach this to our 5-year-olds, right? It's like the simplest stuff. You know, obviously folkstyle we're unlocked, but let's go lock here. He stands up, and all we do is step in front of the leg, and my goal is to get my hips against the back here. So like I'm here, I step, get my hips, and I just bring someone down. Of course, as you saw right there, I automatically like go. Right. I'm sorry, if you wrestle long enough, it's engraved.
Yeah.
As soon as someone starts falling, hands come apart, right? So, and not to say that's the worst thing there, because I think I've seen a lock there too, because maybe you have to catch yourself on a post, right? You step in front, you gotta catch yourself. And now you go back to your lock. And right, try to hook mount or something.
See,
like that.
Like if you can lock your hands, wrestling on the mat, this focus of wrestling, it's not that hard for him to hold me. That's part of the reason why folkstyle wrestling doesn't allow it. Folkstyle wrestling would be rather boring.
If you can just,
because he would just be locked, and I would be trying to get up, and I can't get up. He can just kind of hold me the whole time, and I can't. There's not much I can do, guys. So, what it means for some of you is it opens your eyes and it makes you go, you know what? MMA's, you can keep it pretty simple. I'm not saying you should be a simple fighter. You should always learn as much as you can and figure out your strengths and improve your weaknesses. But why not start with an approach? If you're a fighter or you want to learn more about fighting, hey, you get on top of somebody, let's just lock, hang on them.
See how long you can stay on top, pressure.
Just pressure, wear them out. Wear those guys out, stay locked, learn a couple mat returns. What we call mat return is when somebody stands up and lifts them and takes them back down. If you guys ever saw that fight with Abel Trujillo, I think like Khabib like broke the record on the number of takedowns in a match, in a fight.
That wasn't the Gramby one, was it?
Yeah, that was the Gramby one. And you know, there was a couple times where Trujillo actually hit what's called a Gramby. You know, he kind of Grambied, and he was able to get out because he lifted him, and then on the way down, Abel just kind of goes with it, and he Grambies out, and that kind of threw off Khabib a little bit, but.
And he's trying to kill this
man.
He
was trying to kill him.
So in wrestling, we mat return somebody, we're like, how do we stop the Gramby? Well, we pop our hips, and we let it down here. There's no Gramby, right?
So I can't, even if I tuck, I get stuck in the middle, or he can follow.
Right?
So,
but when you're trying to, murder somebody, right?
Yeah.
There's so much pressure, and then all of a sudden you realize, if I hold on, my face is going to plant.
Yeah.
Right?
Or I may lose a scramble.
Right.
I could lose a scramble at the end of it. So
you let go.
But a lot of that, it's pretty simple. Base, get on your toes, put a lot of weight on your opponent, and ferocious ground and pound. Now, the thing is I gotta give it to Khabib. I mean, he's unique in the ferocious ground and pound. A lot of people say that's easy to say, but not so easy to do for a lot of people. You could say, oh yeah, just have some ferocious ground and pound. Stick it in your game, you're good to go. You just Khabib them. But guys, ferocious ground and pound is something you guys got to practice. Whether you're practicing on a dummy, like beating up a ground and pound dummy over and over and learning how to strike and land and like punch hard and elbow hard, you got to practice that stuff. It's not that simple. Case in point, I hate to call him out, but Jake Shields. If you guys ever saw Jake Shields takes down everybody, his ground and pound is trash. I'm sorry, Jake, but it's trash. He punches very weak. He doesn't have heavy hands. It's not like he hasn't tried. He had a huge career, but he just doesn't punch hard. So what I'm saying is, Nurmagomedov is very unique. He's got such a crazy ground pound with so much pressure. It makes guys wilt underneath. It makes them burn their energy. Their gas tank's gone. They expose themselves. They stick their chin open when he's on their back.
They're just not used to it.
Yeah, they're not used to it.
They don't have somebody in the room that just comes at them like that. There's no way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, then if they would feel it, then they would come to the fight and be like, oh, okay, this makes sense. I've dealt with this form of fighter before, but obviously no. Nobody's seen it in the room, right?
Yeah.
Because it looks like everybody's surprised every time.
Totally. Yeah.
It's like nobody's ever been on top of you and just locking their hands trying to beat the crap out of you, right?
And MMA is such a sport that it's like, it's kind of like the decathlon, right? Or it's taking all the martial arts and putting them together. So you're not a full expert at any one thing, but it certainly helps. So he's a great wrestler, grappler.
Yeah.
He's striking, any world champion kickboxer or boxer would look at his striking and go, he's got a lot to learn. But what does that matter when he knows that you have a weakness that is his strength? And
strike long enough to get in range.
Exactly. And that's all he needs is one clinch. It's almost like going back in time to the Gracies. It's like a resurgence of the whole, 80-90% of fights end up on the ground. So, in Khabib's mind, 90% of fights go to the ground in Khabib's mind. Yeah. And he proves it, but he's also another way high level up. It's no longer the Gracies fighting the local Hapkido instructor, Taekwondo guy, karate guy, who doesn't know takedowns, or the guy on random Street Fighter. Now we have guys that are trained, but Khabib can still make the takedown work. So it doesn't matter. So if you got the best kickboxer in the world, he'll take him down. And what if you got another wrestler? What if Khabib fought a wrestler that's better than him? They're out there.
Arguably.
They're out there.
Yeah.
But they won't have his...
But he can't put it together. Right?
Yes, they can't put it together. Yeah. If you get a wrestler good enough to not be taken down by Nurmagomedov and not, you know what I'm saying? Like they can stop takedowns and they can take him down. Well, guess what? That guy won't have the striking skill
Yeah.
that Nurmagomedov has, and they probably won't have the submission skill.
Because you can make the argument some of the D1 guys right now would probably team
Yeah.
them up in Folkstyle. Right?
Yeah.
If we're saying Folkstyle wrestling rules,
Or freestyle.
Or
just
take
take
down.
Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
Olympic gold medalist, he will beat Nurmagomedov in a wrestling match.
And probably
But the
quick.
second you add strikes,
yeah, then it's
it's totally different. He's not the greatest wrestler Sambo guy of all time. But guess what? He's the greatest of all time that also has this other stuff. And now this is MMA. This is not Sambo. This is not wrestling. It's not judo. It's not kickboxing. This is MMA. And you know what? He uses it to his best advantage. And that's what anybody should do. How could you argue? Like, everybody's like, I don't like Khabib Nurmagomedov because he doesn't have good punches and kicks. Which, that's not always true. The guy dropped Connor.
Yeah,
the guy hit Gaethje with a nice little jet. You see that right hand?
Yeah.
He's got the flying knee. He's got the eagle. He's got the eagle. Boom. Dude, he brings some strikes that are very, very good. But obviously technically sound, head down, a little too much, not always looking wild. But, he's still effective. And what does it matter? You can criticize him. It doesn't matter. He's the man. And everybody wants to point out that John Jones is the best. Some people get on me because I said that Khabib has now taken the greatest of all time position, the GOAT. I still stand by it. Guys, he hasn't popped for PEDs. No drug. No, he's not a coke addict. I'm sorry. No picograms for Khabib. If he ever did it, he never got caught. So, in my opinion, he's the best. I know he hasn't defended his title that many times, but you know what? Think about how much domination with high-level fighters.
Jones has had close fights too.
Yeah, he's had close fights.
Gustafson's fight. The last time he fought for a belt.
Yeah.
At light heavy. I mean, that was a close
Exactly.
5-round fight.
Dude,
Khabib's never
Gustafson, he's had tons of close fights.
Khabib
But
smashes everything.
you know what? I'll do another video on what I thought about the whole Gaethje Khabib fight. I got some other stuff I want to say, but we've talked enough. Thank you guys so much. Teach Me Grappling. Click the links. Support our channel. The membership started. Just dropped a new video for the membership. If you guys want to get in on the secret stuff, what we're doing during this week, you got to get in on the membership. Click on that link in our membership on our YouTube channel, and we'll be back more next time with more great stuff. Thank you.